What are we going to do about the people who purchase the alcohol? What are we going to do about the people who's at the parties trying to give minors drugs in order for favors? When are you going to answer our questions? Like, was her phone in the car with her? Do you have her phone? Do you have her phone records? Hey, what about that toxicology report? What's going on, guys? So apparently they ruled Kiely Rodni's death as an accident. Really? So here's the thing, though. I could get behind them ruling it as an accident. But before I do, before that happens, I got a few questions, right? Because accident makes sense when you start thinking about it. When you start thinking about, well, you got video of her driving toward the water. It's her last phone ping location. On the videos, you can see that she turns the other way, goes in the water right around the time of the last phone ping. Like, it makes sense that she could have drove off in the water. You do see other cars leaving and going and turning the other direction and leaving just fine. And she's right in that same time frame and she turns the wrong direction and goes down. And then we have a little bit of space in between the next car that comes out and leaves. I guess maybe her car could have not been visible to them by then in the dark, right? So there's a plausible explanation that it is an accident. But if we're going to accept accident, I got a few questions, right? Number one, why did the police not have access to that video immediately? It's a wildland fire cam, am I correct there? Okay, so that's a government body, and that same government body is spending 19,000 man hours. 19,000 man hours over a couple weeks period searching for this missing girl. And you have video evidence of where she was all along. On top of that, you have her last phone ping being 55 feet from where she was found. On top of that, when you had an outsider come in, Adventures with Purpose, offering to help search the water with their high-tech equipment, you send them off to other bodies of water within the 10-mile radius because you've already thoroughly searched Prosser, and she wasn't there. Why did you send them away? Why would you not have them start on her last known whereabouts? Now, I understand the tow truck driver and all that with AWP, but if the police had said, her last phone ping's here, we've only searched out 25 feet, we don't really have the experience or the equipment you guys have, so maybe you guys should start right here. AWP would have started right there. That's where they always start, the last known location, right? They supposedly verified this tow truck driver's claim with some investigator. That's why they didn't start at Prosser. So then they spend a day clearing out everywhere else. They come, they find her in 35 minutes. How many people were there with AWP? Let's say there's a max of 5 people there with AWP, right? 35 minutes worth of searching. So we got to do 5 times 35. So AWP spent less than 3 hours total between everybody searching the area that you spent 19,000 man hours searching, and they find her. And then they tell you where it's at. And instead of letting them help you with the recovery, since they do this every day, you tell them to go get lost, get out of the area. It's a police matter. And then you proceed to flip a car over, damage the car underwater, on top of losing evidence from the car, pull the car out, steer the car with your bare hand, load the car up, never go back for the evidence that fell out of the car. We have a civilian to thank for that. Check It TV goes and finds the laptop and other evidence. Then he calls you and you don't go pick it up because it's not your jurisdiction anymore. So you're just not even going to bother with going to try to help on the investigation you were just on of a teenage girl who drove into the water. You're just not going to it's not worth your time to go pick that evidence up and transfer it over. You have no more press conferences, no more updates, no more nothing. You don't tell us if you think it's a homicide or an accident or an overdose or nothing. You don't tell us anything for like a month and a half. But you do come out saying all the speculation's bad. And you do come out and you clear Jagger Westfall, but you don't clear anybody else, even though you're going to rule this as an accident. her cause of death is drowning, right? We got her cause of death now. Well, how was that not known as soon as the autopsy was taken? Why are we just finding that out now when she's been cremated for a couple of weeks? You're a doctor and you're inspecting what's going on there, right? So you should be able to tell if she drowned or not by the autopsy without having to wait a month and a half, right? Right? I'm just asking. I would like these questions answered. And now, let's get back to the fact that they spent 19,000 man hours and they didn't find her. Who's accountable for that? Who's accountable for the fact that the outsiders came in and found her in 35 minutes, 55 feet from her last phone ping, and then right before you come out and tell everybody, yeah, it was an accident, we get 2 cameras controlled by the state, 2 camera angles that show her drive into the water. How is that not accessed during 19,000 man hours of search time? How is that not, hey, we have wildland fire cams pointed in that area, publicly accessible? How is that not a instant, let's go check those cameras? Why are we just getting that evidence now? And if you had it the whole time, why would you sit around and let everybody on the internet speculate about when she went in the water and not answer any questions? And just let all the theories build while you come out and say, oh no, this is bad. The parents are saying, please stop with the theories, blah, blah, blah. We believe it. But nobody's saying what they should be saying, which is, hey, we have evidence that she drove in the car at this time. The phone ping is at the exact time the car goes in the water. Nobody's saying none of that, which could have put a stop to a lot of stuff if that would have came out earlier. But no, Instead, you clear one teenager. You don't show that your investigation has said it's most like an accident. There's all kinds of red flags. There's complete incompetence on the police department side. Okay, so we're in a town full of money, right? This is not like news to anybody, right? There's a lot of people worth billions of dollars that own homes in that area, that their kids may be in that area. Hundreds of millions of dollars in that area. People in that area have connections to the governor of California because they have so much money, they have so much influence. Am I wrong? Tell me if I'm wrong now. Then we have a little podunk police department over here, probably full of a bunch of $16, $17 an hour police officers. Do you know why there's this whole conspiracy that, oh no, they probably bribed it, it's probably corrupt cops, it's probably a corrupt politician, this investigation is corrupt? Do you know why that's a theory for people? Because it happens. It happens in real life. And you've got a bunch of Silicon Valley billionaires who own property and their kids may be involved. And then you've got a bunch of cops just randomly messing everything up and handling everything in the worst possible ways. So, I mean, what are we going to do about that? Are you just going to let that go? Is that par for the course for you guys over there? Is that good police work in Truckee? Where you just cover up, you don't say anything, you let the world go wild with speculation, and then a month and a half later you come out and give us the information that you've had for the whole month and a half, you just decided not to tell us yet? Is that what happens? Did you conveniently leak a couple videos from your investigation in order to make it a little softer when you say this, but you didn't count on the fact that people would stop and turn around and be like, wait a minute, if you had access to these videos the whole time, why did you not mention these before? How did you not find her immediately when the state controls cameras that you know is pointed in that direction? You know this. I mean, we're talking about a rescue here. We're talking about a search and rescue mission here, right? We're talking about the police department, the fire department, search and rescue, volunteers, anybody of authority in that area is coming out together to try to find this missing girl that's making national headlines, right? Am I wrong? Because I could be wrong. And then you have the internet on fire about speculation with all this. You have all the local Facebook community pages on fire with speculation about all this, but you don't come out with any answers for a month and a half. And then you come out after the dust is settled and you come and tell us, oh yeah, it was an accident. We've got these cameras that show the car driving in. Yeah, we see the car driving in. But what does that tell us that it was an accident? What that doesn't show us that nobody jumped out of the car, that nobody pushed the car in. That doesn't show us that at all. That shows us headlights in the dark and then some AI enhanced images where the computer goes back and adds pixels to make the picture complete. But if it can't see something, it can't add pixels for them to be there. It's just going to go on what it thinks it is. None of the high definition, high resolution daylight images of a video that was recorded at nighttime is actually showing you a real picture. That's an AI picture. That's a picture created by AI to fill in the gaps of what it did not capture on camera of what would make sense, right? But that would make sense that a car would drive in the water, so that's the direction AI would go with it. That car could have possibly been pushed in the water. It could have been rolled in the water. It could have been driven in the water by somebody else. We can't see any of that. But I'm willing to accept that this girl got drunk at a party, made a wrong turn, and drove into the water. I'm willing to accept that. If that's really what her autopsy showed, that she died of drowning, I understand. I understand that's a possibility. But I just want those questions answered about the police department. I want to know how that incompetence and or corruption is going to be handled. What heads are going to roll? Who's going to be held accountable for the fact that you couldn't find a 16-year-old girl that you had 2 videos of her driving into the water? You were searching that exact place. You were turning away other people from searching that exact place, saying that you thoroughly searched it. When then they come out there and get on the lake, they find her in 35 minutes. Then you dump all the evidence out of the car while flipping the car over, bust the driver's window on top, and kind of destroy a lot of shit, lose a bunch of evidence out of the car, and leave it there. Don't even come pick it up when the civilian finds it and tells you that it's there. What are we doing? What are we going to do about that? Is that okay? And then the silence, the radio silence, and all the money that's in Truckee, and all the possibilities of corruption that you know the internet's going to go crazy with, because you got a bunch of rich kids up there doing drugs in the woods with a bunch of grown men giving them drugs in exchange for their attention. You know how that works, right? Like the grown man will give the girl a little bit of coke and give her a little bit of coke and give her a little bit of coke, just partying, just having fun. And then when she comes back and wants some more, he's like, oh, I'm getting low. I could sell you a pack, And she's like, well, I don't have money. And he's like, oh, well, you can do a little something, but we're just going to look past all that. We're not worried about none of those type of charges. We're not worried about none of the who provided alcohol for this teen girl to even be drunk in the first place to be able to drink and drive and run off into the water on accident. We're not worried about none of that. We're not worried about the 18-year-old girl who's on video admitting to giving this 16-year-old girl alcohol and drinking out of the same cup all night and partying and then getting into another car and leaving her friend there knowing that she was going to drink and drive on the way home. She can say, oh, I didn't think Kiely would do that all she wants, but she clearly let a slip out on her first interview when she was like, I didn't want to ride with her because she was drinking. Come on now. Come on. Are we stupid? Are we joking here? Just no charges whatsoever for anybody. All the other crimes that were committed and all the other stuff that we've heard about with these parties and these kids and these drugs and adults. And somebody purchased the alcohol for this little girl to get drunk and drive off in a lake and lose her life. But we're not worried about none of that, right? None of that. It's just ruled an accident. When are you going to answer our questions? Like, was her phone in the car with her? Do you have her phone? Do you have her phone records? Hey, what about that toxicology report? Was it just that she was drunk and drove into the water, or was she high on some type of drug and drove into the water? Because, we understand that you're able to tell just how much is in her system. Just how much it would be, what it would cause to happen to her if she had certain amounts in her system. So if you would let us know about that stuff. If you would let us know about the phone. If you would let us know what's going to happen to the police officers who showed a complete incompetence in this case, if they're not corrupt. And if they are, of course, what are you going to do about the corrupt officers in the case? What are we going to do about the people who purchase the alcohol? What are we going to do about the people who's at the parties trying to give minors drugs in order for favors and attention? What are we going to do? Let us know, because we want to know. That's something I feel like we are entitled to know. What are you going to do? Who is going to be held accountable for this? The world is watching. The world is watching. So let's know what you're going to do. Let us know how it's going to go. Let us know how this ends. Because, I mean, okay, it was an accident. What about all the rest of the stuff that I just asked? Let's go from here. Your turn. Thank you for watching, guys. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. And subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. I appreciate it. Have a good day, and we'll see you later.